All right, welcome to chair yoga, and we're going to take an easy session today. There'll be some recovery moves. I'm in recovery mode myself after a long hospital hiatus. And make sure your chair is in a safe position where it's not going to slide around. And walk your sit bones towards the edge of the chair, so most of your thighs are suspended out over the chair and you're away from the back of the chair. And for a moment, just lean forward, bring your body weight forward into your thighs and notice your feet position. I want you to notice, are my feet parallel? Are they turned out? Are they turned in? There's a tendency when one leg gets a little weaker that one foot will start to rotate outwards. See if you can bring that foot back to about 12 o'clock so the feet line up. And then let your body center of gravity sway back a little bit into the sit bones and then forward again. So you put some weight on those feet. Just back and forth. Now this little action that we're doing is going to help strengthen and stabilize the thighs, which is going to support the knees. And it's also going to help train you to bring the feet more to that parallel position when you stand up. So it's a simple exercise. And then as you're doing it, synchronize your breathing. So you might breathe in as you sit up and exhale as you lean forward. So this simple exercise can have a significant impact on the way you stand and the strength in your weaker leg. I'm going to say weaker leg because the dominant leg tends to take the brunt of standing. But here we're trying to bring it back to an evenness between the two. The next time you come back, pause. Grab hold of the hips like Wonder Woman. And then push your thumbs strongly into the back of the hips so the pelvis tilts forward, the low back arches. And then press your thumbs down so the lumbar spine curves underneath and you stretch the low back. So just gyrate the hips a little bit here. Get some movement in the low back. And then come to neutral with the slightest tilt forward. And hold that position as you rest the hands, palms face up on the thighs. Shoulders roll up. Back and down. Let's do some circles with the shoulders. And then hold the shoulders back and down. Let the arms relax. Notice how it feels to have good posture on your chair. For some people it feels natural, other people it feels weird, it feels strained. So just allow it to be as it is, and we'll notice at the end of class if this changes. The 6 directions of the spine. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, float the hands down. Inhale, float up and lift the chin up. When the breath is full, float the arms down and drop the chin down and grab hold of the knees here and round the back a bit. Inhale, lift up, look up, reach up. Exhale, grab the knees round the back and feel the whole spine from neck to tailbone. Engage in that movement. Excellent. We're going to continue with these two movements of the spine in a slightly different way. The next time you inhale, lift up, look up, reach up, pause. Wriggle a little bit out of the hips so you get a little taller. And then exhale, float the hands around and grab the back of your chair. Drop the chin, just allow the back of the neck to stretch. Keep holding the chair, squeeze the shoulder blades, lift the chin. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, release the chair and hug a big circle in front of you, like you're hugging a big tree. Drop the head down. Inhale, lift up, look up, reach up. Exhale, grab the back of the chair and slump. Drop the head. Keep holding the chair. Inhale, open up the chest, shoulders back, lift the chin. Exhale, hug. Keep going. So there's 4 distinct movements here. Just notice how your back and spine feel as you do that. Excellent. I like how everyone's moving at their own pace. Do one more completion, keeping your arms in the air when you're finished. Now, with the arms in the air, drop that left hand down to the chair, leaning to the left. And as you lean to the left, allow the head to lean to the left and resist the temptation to let the chin come to the chest. Inhale, come up. Exhale, other side. Start floating in those 3 positions. Hands up, look up. Exhale, leaning to one side, back through center, leaning to the other side. If that's too much, and that's feeling a little too much for me today, bring your hand behind the back of the head as you lean. Now the next time you come through center, pause and bring both hands to the right side. So the left arm crosses in front of the body. The right hand reaches towards the back of the chair, twisting the spine. Hold the twist and bring the head to the opposite direction, so the head twists to the left, while the shoulders twist to the right. Inhale, slowly unwind and reach up. Opposite direction.
Where would you like to go?
Don't forget the head. And then turn this into a fluid motion. So moving through center, hands up, twisting, head twists opposite direction, and then lifting up through center on the inhale, exhaling, twisting, double twist. So the whole spine, getting used to the movements in all directions. Getting the kinks out is one way to express it. And the brain loves this kind of work, where you cross over the center line of the body like this, and you're twisting in different directions. The brain is stimulated. Because normally we sit very statically, and that body sensation that goes to the brain doesn't really get much of a workout. The next time you come through center, pause and release. Now, while this isn't technically a direction of the spine, the whole spine becomes like a big stirring rod. So grab hold of the knees, lean forward and then all the way to the left and then back, stirring a big circular orbit in the pelvic bowl. And as you circle forward, notice your feet again. Has anything changed with that weaker leg? Has your foot started to rotate out? Notice how wide apart your feet are. The wider apart they are, the more stable you become. Keep stirring, but bring the feet in closer together and see how that changes the dynamic. Bring it out really wide, maybe even off the mat. And notice how that changes the dynamic. If you haven't already, stir the circle in the opposite direction. This can be very helpful for the low back. Notice the weaker leg, what's happening to the foot. Then come back to your more natural stance. And then pausing, slowing down. widen the feet and rotate the feet outwards. So this is a different kind of movement where we want the feet rotated outwards. And take a block between the feet. Now, if you don't have a block, don't worry. Don't worry. Lean elbows over the thighs. Start to let the upper body relax here. Drop the head and then lift the head. Try that a few times so you really feel the difference between holding the head up and letting it drop down. Feel that in the back of the neck. Lengthening the back of the neck when we drop down. And then tightening it, extending the cervical spine when we lift up. Now most of you know where I'm going with this. We're going to bring the hands down to the block and lean our weight further forward with that same action of the head if you can. If this makes you dizzy at all, come back to elbows on thighs. Some of you are going to take your hands all the way to the floor and allow yourself to come down by bending the elbows. So you're going to feel the weight of the torso opening the hips and stretching the low back. It's a little intense for me, so I'm going to come up a little bit. I'm going to rest my elbows on the thighs, but you can keep going. We're all going to be in different places. If you want a super stretch, super hip opener, you can walk your hands back under the chair. Come out of this pose, come out slowly. You might even bring your elbows back to the thighs, hands to the thighs, and walk yourself up slowly. If you have low blood pressure, that might be a little too much, so you come up slowly. Take a few breaths here to regain equilibrium. Now I'm going to do this pose front ways and sideways so you see it in both ways. And it comes in different stages. Stage one is you walk your feet back a little bit so the heels remain on the floor. And you lean forward. You just lean forward. So let's think of this as one stage. Stage two, you can drop your hands down beside you. Stage three, you can reach your hands back and feel yourself leaning forward more. Come up. Stage two is to move your feet back further so the heels lift up and you're on the balls of the feet. The pads of the toes, and you lean forward. You drop your hands, and then you bring your hands back and feel that in the feet. You feel that in the thighs too. The quadriceps are nicely engaged here. And come up. Now the last stage, stage three, is you're going to take the feet back even further and put the toenails down on the mat or the floor. So you're stretching the foot through what we call plantar flexion. So you feel the stretch in the front of the ankles. You lean forward carefully here because the chair wants to tip forward. So just come forward a little bit here. Drop your hands. Yeah. And then bring the hands back. So it's a little bit like the yoga pose Vajrasana. We're going to do that whole sequence again. I'll turn sideways so you see it from the side. Stage one, feet back, heels grounded, lean forward, dangle the arms, bring the arms back. Come on up. Stage two, come onto the balls of the feet so you can feel the center of gravity is shifting. The chair becomes a little less stable. So you've got to be careful here not to go too far forward. Dangle and bring back. Come on up. And the last one, I don't know if you can see my feet, the toenails are actually down on the mat now. And I get this big stretch right through the shins. I can't lean too far forward. Dangle. Whoop, bring the arms back. You can even push down with the top of the feet if that helps. Exhale, release. So that's woken up the ankle joint. We're going to add a little more to the ankle joint. So bring the left leg up over the right knee, figure four. Take your left hand and grip just above the ankle. Really make a strong grip there. So you could pick the leg up with that left hand. Right hand is going to grip strongly the toes. Really give the toes a squeeze, unless you have an injury. And then start to turn the foot in a passive circle. So the ankle joint's not doing the turning. The hand is turning the ankle joint. The ankle joint's very passive, very receptive. Other direction. And then pause, keeping the figure four. Bracing the hands against the leg. You simply lean forward to the degree that feels deliciously uncomfortable. So not too much. And then try to drop your head down towards your shin. So using this variation of figure four or pigeon, come on up slowly, change legs. Good strong grip. Give that shin a big squeeze, toes a big squeeze, passive ankle, and turn it in a nice big circle. Other way if you haven't already. And then pause, brace, lean forward. Really feel this right in the gluteal medius here and right in the butt. Drop the head if you like. And then slowly come up. Release the leg. Bring your feet parallel and lean forward. I want you to lean forward so that you can feel how the weight is going into the legs. And I want you to think, oh, I'm going to stand up here, which means you want to keep the feet parallel. You can hold the chair for support if you like, but I want you to get more and more into using strength of your legs and core to lift you up off the chair, even just a little bit, and come down. Avoid using momentum here. If you don't come off the chair, that doesn't matter. The harder you try to come off the chair, the more your strength will grow here. We're basically doing squats. Exhale as you come up. Inhale as you settle. And as you settle, settle gently without plopping. Notice what your weaker leg wants to do. Is that foot rotating outwards? See if you can train it to stay parallel. And the next time you come up, come all the way up. Excellent. And we're going to use the chair sideways. You bring it up to the front of the mat and reverse the direction. So the seat of the chair is facing down the mat. I'm going to turn my mat sideways so it's easier for you to see what I'm doing. Bringing your hands onto the chair leg, chair seat. Walk your feet back. Notice if your feet are parallel or turned out. And push your hips back until you feel the low back release. Lean forward slowly, bringing the weight into the hands. You can lift the heels if you like. You can walk your feet back further if you like. You can come into plank if you like. In plank, make sure you feel a nice stretch in the calf muscles. Come back. L stretch. And do that a few times. And then prepare yourself for child pose. Leaning the hands into the seat of the chair, bend the knees, come down onto the knees, and resting the head at about the seat level, just come back into child pose. And from child pose, come onto your sit bones, sitting on the mat. And we want to swing our legs up onto the seat of the chair. The best way I like to do it is to sit really close to the seat of the chair, come onto my back and swing those legs up. Now, if your hips are off the ground, you might need to bring your legs down onto something lower, like a coffee table or the lounge. Bring your hands out 45 degrees to the hips, palms face up. And remember that little hip wiggle we did before. Tucking the tailbone, feel the low back flatten into your mat. Lift the tailbone and feel the back arch. So you're getting just a little pelvic rocking action. So the low back is active. The mid and upper back are supported. Check in with your neck. If your neck is uncomfortable, basically if your chin is pointing up to the ceiling, you might want to put a little bit of padding under the head.
I couldn't find pointing.
And then come to settle with as much of the back on the mat as possible. So your hips are supported, low back is supported, shoulder blades supported. And consciously relax your shoulders. Keep the spine relaxed. We're going to make some snow angel movements with the arms. So you might remove any clutter to the side and just simply snow angel as far as the range of motion of your arms and shoulders feel good. Some of you might reach above the head and touch. Some might have a smaller range of motion. And some of you might surprisingly find the range of motion gets better over repeated iterations. The next time your hands come down beside the hips, shuffle your hips 3 or 4 inches, 2 to 4 inches to the right, and drop your left leg onto the, well, I'm in the same mode as you, so I'm going to say drop your right leg onto the ground. Bring the arms out 90 degrees, palms up. Do a few hip rocks here. And then work on that right foot so it's perpendicular to the ground. Toes are curled back, and you're pushing through the right heel. Rotate the head to the left. Rotate the head to neutral and bring both legs back onto the chair, straightening the hips. Scoot the hips over a couple of inches to the left and drop the left leg this time. Foot perpendicular, toes curled back, arms 90 degrees, turning the head to the right. You might wiggle the hips a bit just to keep that low back honest. When you're ready, bring the head to neutral and return both legs to the chair. Bring the arms down 45 degrees. And just allow yourself to relax into this supported Shavasana. Relax the jaw. Relax the cheeks. Relax the whole face. Inhale, gently clasp the hands behind the head. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, lift the head up, but support the head so there's no strain on the neck. Really support the head. Wrap your forearms around the skull. And gently lift the back of the skull up. Just tractioning through the neck. Draw your knees back slowly and roll to one side into a little ball. Keep resting your head on your arm. Keep the lower arm supporting the head, and then use the upper arm to press into the ground to come up slowly. And find a comfortable seat, which might mean you want to sit back on the chair, or you might want to stay on the ground. Check your weaker leg. Is the foot rotated out? Lean forward and backward a few times. The next time you come upright, back of the hands face up, brings the shoulders back and down. Pelvis slightly forward of neutral. And notice at the end of practice if the posture in your seat feels more natural. And there's no right or wrong answer to that. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it does, it does. Lift the corners of the mouth, lift the hands to the heart. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today.